That helps. I think we're live. We're live. Let me see. Yes. So usually, hi, Luke.
Hey.
Usually I close this off after I see if it's, connected and stuff. Because I don't like for the guest
To
and
see
myself
yourself.
to
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
ourselves
That's
and
cool,
stuff.
man. Yeah, turn it
But
off.
since Chower is giving me this stressful pressure to
Okay.
stay connected, we're gonna try and keep it up there.
All right, so you can see the chat.
Yeah,
Nice.
seriously.
Cool.
Let me see. Just bring this down a little bit like that. Okay, here we go. Anyway, how is everybody? Welcome back to SofaWax. It's been a month off. I took a month off. It wasn't planned, but family. I have this thing with like family. It's like if it's family time, I went to New York and Chicago, and I brought my stuff with me to like produce and whatever, and I ended up never connecting it.
Right.
So yeah, I've been completely disconnected. I came into my studio on Monday. Today's Wednesday, and I was like, shit, I gotta clean this place up. Luke is coming. And right now we were a little late because I hadn't connected all this stuff in a while, and I was having a lot of issues. But it seems to be all working now, so happy to be working normal. Anyway, so first of all, I have to send a big shout out to, I can't say his name yet because he was the original guest that was going to be here today. Big shout out to you, bro. Thank you very much for what you did. You didn't have to do that. And I will give you your flowers 2 weeks from now when we can do your show. So I really, really appreciate it. I was looking at the screen instead of looking at the camera. Really appreciate what you did. And I'm sure Tamen does too. And yeah, thank you so much. He was supposed to be the original guest, and when he heard that Tamen was in town, he was like, hey man, I don't know, man, but I think maybe you want to have Tamen on instead of me. And I was like, well, that's not really how my brain works. I already had you confirmed, but if you're willing to move it, that'd be fucking amazing, because I don't know when else I could get Tamen in here. And then I was like, let me also ask him, because maybe he's not in the mood to be coming directly off the airplane straight to a fucking 2-hour chat without even saying hello as real friends, Like, it's just kind of like, let's go.
Yeah.
But welcome to SofaWax.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anything you want to say right off the bat?
Yeah. I don't know. Not really, man. Yeah. Just bit sleepy.
Yeah. How was your flight today, man? Because it was raining in Barcelona today.
Yeah. It was just like a hold up. So we had to wait like an hour on the tarmac before taking off. So, yeah. So, and I caught up with some friends last night, so I didn't sleep too much. Yeah. So, bit dusty, but yeah, happy to be here, man.
When did you get into Europe?
About a month and a half ago, maybe 5 weeks ago.
Wow, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And every time you come here, you come for this like a long duration?
Yeah, come for 2 months. I can kind of do that with work, and then just gives me time to see family properly, and see friends like yourself, and play some music and get in the studio and like just do all the things that are really nice to be able to do. So yeah.
So what places have you hit up on this trip?
I've just been in London and Galway, like my hometown in Galway in the west of Ireland. And before that I was in London, and just hanging out in London and doing some music stuff there, which was really cool, and seeing family there as well. So yeah, really nice, man. Really, really nice. Yeah.
When did you move over there? Because I was trying to do the dates the other day in my head, and I was just like, man, it feels like it was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, I think
maybe it was less.
Yeah, I think it's about 7 now.
Oh, so I was there.
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
7 years.
Yeah.
You moved there. What time of the year was it when you moved there?
August.
It was August.
Yeah,
this
time of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, so kind of.
So You know, we are going to talk about your past because I'm sure
And when you say there, you mean Melbourne, Australia?
Melbourne, yeah. I was going to say we are going to talk about your past, but I just want to get over some of these questions in the beginning to catch up. This chat is going to be a little bit different from my normal chats with people because we have so much history. So I'm not only trying to make it interesting for the viewer, but also for myself and for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
First of all, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. I know you're hot and you're tired. But if there's anything you want to talk about, you know, I forgot to tell you if there's anything you don't want to talk about.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, seriously, welcome back. It's good to have you back. Big shout out to Sekiv, of course. Love you, bro. I hope you're doing well. And so, yeah, what was it that made you decide first that you were leaving Barcelona, and second, where you went to?
Well, I think it was more about where I was going than leaving. You know, for me, it was more about a change rather than kind of leaving something. You know.
Yeah.
I have family. My grandfather's brother and sister both emigrated to New Zealand a long time ago. So I'd been out there once before, and I kept on meeting people from Melbourne. I met some friends, Torres, Dr. Reyes, and Natalie. The friends from Barcelona, they moved to Melbourne. She's from Melbourne originally. And then I met some friends who ended up staying on my couch that were playing some shows here. Bevan Campbell and his friend Jim, who they were like, yeah, you come to Melbourne, you have a place to stay and all this kind of stuff. And I met a few more people that were migrating to Melbourne. Gonzalo, this guy I used to live with, is an artist who used to do stuff in the Nave and Clot. One of the first people I met here that would do kind of parties and stuff. He moved there as well. So yeah, it was just all these kind of connections, and then went to see it. I went there on a trip before I decided to move there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a couple of years. It was like 2 years before I moved. I think I went to see my family in New Zealand. I went on this big trip, and I went to see Melbourne.
Maybe that's why I feel like it's longer.
Yeah, so that was like 9 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And then it just was like, oh, this place is sick. Played some music shows there. Met some people, met really nice people, and it was just really easy and exciting new place. So thought, well, like my visa opportunity was going to run out, so I needed to leave when I left because of my age, so it was going to cut off. If I hadn't left, then I wouldn't have been able to get in on the visa I got in on. So it was kind of like, well, yeah, I'll just give it a shot. I'll give it a year. That was the plan. I left my records. I guess there's about this many records.
You had a lot of records,
with Kevin. With Sekiv.
What happened with that?
I had to pay some Polish guy, some crazy Polish guy, to put them in a van. Steve, some Polish Steve.
Shout out to Polish Steve.
Yeah, he took them in a van from Barcelona to Ireland for like €200 or something with all my stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I went there, really liked it, and it was like, well, I'll give it a try and see. It's kind of like how I moved to Barcelona. It was just like, give it a try, give it a year, and then see how it settles. And
but you're making it sound like you were like living like a nomad lifestyle, and you're like, yeah, I want to live here, I want to live there, but you actually were pretty established here, so that was a pretty big move. I mean, I think I was at the point where I needed a big change. I was gonna start studying here, studying psychotherapy here. That was a new thing for me that I was getting into. And I needed something to change. The music stuff here was going really well. Like the nights we were doing were going really well at that point. But everything else in my life it's just kind of same, nothing was really shifting, and I needed to shift things up, I needed a change. Just felt a bit stagnant, in life in general. I find this stuff like the interesting stuff because see, I don't know if you've watched any of these episodes of the show, but the main purpose of this show for me was, if you remember, we would throw these parties and we'd have fans, if you want to call them that. I don't know what else to call them, but they were people that really supported us and came to our parties a lot. Sure. But they always had like a buddy, a girlfriend, a boyfriend that tagged along. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, but they always seemed to be a little bit more interested in what was going on than it may have seemed at first.
Mm.
And I remember a lot of times asking them, like, what do you do? Like, what do you DJ? Do you sing? Do you draw? Do you what, like, how are you involved? And I always remember people feeling very embarrassed by that question,
Right.
So
Okay.
a lot of the idea behind this show was to kind of normalize what it is to be an artist involved in the scene.
Okay.
So
okay.
part of it is, of course, how you got from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But also it's stuff like this, like where you were in where you were established in a city, which is not easy to do, a city that's not yours, that city you were not born in. So you kind of had to, like, do the groundwork. You did hard work to get to where you got to that point, and then to suddenly decide to leave. I remember a lot of artists locally were asking me, like, why is Luke leaving? Like,
All right. Okay, yeah.
In a way, I guess
Well,
they
I
were
had
trying
to.
to get rumors, but
I
also,
mean, I had to. If I wanted to visit Australia and be in there for a year, I had to go. I had to go before my birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday was 12th of August, so I had to get there
Yeah.
before that year. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to even visit it for a year. So it just made the decision for me. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
can't fuck around here. I have to. If I'm gonna try to, see what it's like to live in a different place, the decision's kind of made for me in a way. I mean, for me, that's easier because I had a bit of a limitation, limitations help. So I found that good.
But that
thing.
says
I didn't
a lot
over-
about
didn't-
you
didn't
as a
overthink
person,
it,
though,
you know?
Luke. That says a lot about you, because if you think about it, you did that when you left Ireland,
Yeah, same thing.
and you
Yeah.
did the same thing when you left
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
I don't know if you will ever do it again, but you've already done it twice. When you
Yeah.
think about, people that are established, for example, in London, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine a lot of people that are established there could never imagine leaving, because they're
Yeah,
like,
sure,
why would I
sure.
try to do this somewhere else if I'm already established here? But the difference is that you actually listened to yourself. You actually were trying to find what it is you needed
Yeah.
to grow as a person,
Yeah.
and you've been doing that.
Yeah.
That says a lot about you.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I feel like that's. Yeah, that's the purpose for me in life, is just to keep on growing and trying to settle somewhere as well. Found it difficult to settle here. I had lots of friends and it was a good place for me, but it's hard to
It's
feel
a difficult
settled.
city.
Hard to feel settled for me. So in Melbourne, that was like the easiest thing. As soon as I got there, I feel very
Okay.
relaxed, and it was easy. It was very easy.
Yeah.
Here was really difficult
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then it got easier, but but there it was very easy from the start, so it was kind of a nice intro
Transition.
to somewhere to different kind of life.
Yeah.
So I just went with that, and it worked out in a way. But I'm still on a temporary visa there, so that's been a constant. So I never really know how long I have left in the country, and that's the challenge there for me, is just not having that stability. Which is an interesting thing to experience, being European, being in Europe, never having to deal with visas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but I'm
Yeah.
lucky in many ways, but that's the difficult part of
The payoff.
being over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the biggest schools, like one of the biggest universities for people is traveling and getting to know the world, and especially for creators, because we tend to be very sensitive, so we absorb a lot of our environment, and there are the majority who don't travel, so it's like it's for us who do travel, it is kind of shocking when you see that most of the world doesn't move from their area.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not so uncommon being Irish to emigrate, Most of my friends, their parents' generation, grandparents' generation, great-grandparents' generation, like, all emigrated at some point. I guess because traditionally there's just not much work in Ireland, and there was a kind of a necessity, so...
Right.
So it wasn't in that case, and like both of my parents immigrated different places as well, so in that sense it wasn't so foreign. I know here, I mean, in some I think in some Mediterranean cultures it is harder because it's very important to be close to the family, and that's just really still ingrained in the culture. Whereas in Ireland, we kind of lost that, So as much as such a thing, you have to stay. So yeah.
Would you say the Irish are generally okay? Would you say they're generally more immigrating type of culture compared to Spain?
Yeah. I think so in my experience.
Yeah.
But again, it's also because of the history of Irish people migrating to places like Australia, UK, America. It's easier for them with the visa as well. But there's a pathway there that's being kind of forged from generations previously. So it's not uncommon. Whereas for Spanish people, it wouldn't be so common because it just wasn't a thing before. That's my understanding anyway. All right, so we should talk a bit about your past. So for those who don't know you, can get to know you a bit, at least your story of where you come from. I normally read the DJ's biography. Okay.
But I figure since it's you, unless you want me to read it and cut short.
No, it's all right.
But so how was music part of your household? When you were a kid?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I liked music as a kid. Yeah, like I remember certain records like my mum would play, or like certain tapes my mum would play. But yeah, and it was around, I guess, like where I'm from in Ireland was a very musical city. There's a lot of people playing music on the street. A lot of international kind of buskers come through and play on the street, and there's just and the traditional music there is really good as well. So there's a lot of kind of creativity in that place,
You were born and raised in Galway.
I was born in Cambridge, outside England, outside London, because
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but my mum was already living in Ireland. She wanted to have a birth without all the drugs.
Oh.
And she wanted to have a sit down birth,
wow, I didn't even know that was something.
Which you couldn't have in Ireland, It's very restrictive in terms of the way you birth. What?
How old are you
now?
Yeah.
I'm 40.
40.
Yeah.
So that was
84.
Okay. And back in 84 they were still doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think condoms were only legalized in the 70s, late 70s. Wow. Lots of stuff like that. For women's kind of birthing rights and stuff like that is pretty old school. Yeah, comparatively to England, like significantly so. I think in the 80s, look, I'm not really an expert now because it's just but women weren't even really allowed to have pints in pubs. It was a big thing. A lot of women pushed that. She changed that. They were only allowed to have wine and stuff, or maybe whiskey.
What the fuck?
So yeah, there's a lot of just really old school mentality.
Just nonsense.
Yeah. So she had birth in England because she was able to choose how she could have birth in England, which she couldn't have done in Ireland at the time. And she was already living in Galway, where I'm from. And then once I was born, I think a week after or a week and a half, we went back. Yeah.
So music.
Yeah, so just music was around, I guess, in that space, music was always around.
Yeah.
So
do you remember anything, no matter how stupid it is, anything that kind of caught your ear when you were young?
Yeah, I think one song was the Neville Brothers. I can't remember the song, but I know if A Change Gonna Come. I think.
And what was that effect that it had on you?
It was just a very powerful piece of music. It was just vocals, I think, and it was just beautiful and sad.
So you felt like you liked it.
Yeah. I could feel something.
And how old
with
were
it.
you?
I don't know, like a kid,
yeah,
small,
And where did you
6,
hear it?
7, in the car. In
Okay.
the car, yeah. She'd play it on the tape. So it's one of those songs that stuck with me from that time, that I really remember. So when I listen to it now, it's very powerful. It's just a very powerful song.
I don't know if I know this song.
Yeah.
Do you think I know it?
Yeah, you'd know it if you heard
it.
In the States, it would have been big. I mean,
yeah.
But
later you can show me.
Yeah.
So moving on from there, what was the next musical step forward for you?
Yeah, I guess, I mean,
Any other influences?
yeah, I mean, I just remember, I guess, like hearing, like, I guess, rave music for the first time was just on like CD compilations or like on the
Yeah.
radio, but like just like jumping around to that when I was like, I guess 8 or 9 or something like
Wow,
that.
8 and 9, you understood that music already.
Well, I don't know if I understood it. It just had lots of energy. So like the
yeah.
Prodigy were really big.
Yeah.
All that stuff was in the charts. So yeah, I guess it was probably like 93 or something, 92, something like that. Yeah, I just remember that being like really powerful, or just like really fun. You know, like loads of energy. But then it was about,
How did you get your hands on that stuff?
I was like those CDs, like those dance compilation CDs. They were like chart CDs, really, but they were like dance music. Oh, they sold them in the stores, you know.
But how did you know about it?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I must have heard it somewhere or seen a video of or something. And
So it wasn't like your friends were into it, or your cousin, or your uncle, or whatever.
Can't even remember. Yeah. But I think it was like a standard kind of CD. Like someone else at school probably got it, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was about 12, my parents divorced when I was pretty young. And my mum's partner at the time was this German guy, and he had a lot of younger friends, and they were all into DJing. And he was like, when he started dating my mum, he started giving her all these CDs like as presents, but she didn't really like them. But they were like, I guess they were the first CDs I heard of electronic music. Some of them, at least. There's the DJ Shadow.
Introducing.
Yeah, that one. And then Cold Cuts Journey by DJs, the mix CD.
Those are amazing.
And all the Ninja Tune stuff.
Yeah, the early Ninja Tune stuff.
Yeah, early Ninja Tune stuff. Orbital.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bunch of stuff like that. And his friend, so like I was like really into the CDs, like, and so he saw that, and then he took me around to his friend's house, who was a younger guy in his 20s, I guess, young guy, and he was a DJ, and he had all these records, and he was like, I think he worked night shifts in the factory, and he would spend all his money on records, and he would buy everything. So he had like loads of Detroit techno, loads of like Warp records,
right?
Then like LTJ Bookham stuff and Metalheads,
London Records, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So and like loads of the Ninja Tune stuff and some dub and all this. So he took me around to this guy's house one day, and he like showed me like, oh, this is one record, you put it on, and
okay,
I think
you got your basics there.
Yeah, and they saw that I was really interested in it. I think I was 12, so still in primary school, last year of primary school, and the guy was like, oh, well, if you want, like, the back door's open, so when you finish school, I'll be working, so just come in and just go to the room and you can just play around. So I spent a year or so, maybe just a year, like just messing around. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was able to listen to all this music because back then that would be the only way you'd hear music like that. So yeah, it was really cool because it was like all mixed genre, you know, and really good records. Yeah, really good records.
What kind of music were your parents into?
I don't really like. My mom was into stuff like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Janis Joplin.
Okay, so
Van
that's
Morrison.
where you got your funk from.
I don't know.
Because it's not natural. It's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm trying to find the right words to say it. There has to be a path to understand. Wow, I like this kind of, abstract hip hop or electronic. There has to be a path. You know what I mean? Whether it's someone showing it to you or like you heard the essence of that music. Your mom was big into Stevie Wonder. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. What about your schoolmates, like in grammar school and stuff? What were they into? Like
grammar school. What's that? What year? How old are the kids?
So like first to all the way through high school to up to 12th. So like first grade all the way up to.
So from 12th.
So that's not grammar school. I'm just asking you from first all the way up to 12th in high school.
Yeah. So what age are the kids? Though I don't understand.
5 all the way
12.
up to. No, okay. Well, then before high school, let's just say.
Well, in Ireland we have primary school, right, which goes
primary school, which is
5 to 12, and then we have secondary school, which goes from like 12, 13 to 18.
So both.
Yeah.
Questions both.
I don't know. I mean, in primary school, music wasn't really a thing that much.
Okay.
Yeah, but in secondary
Interesting.
school is when, around 12 was when I discovered all that music. I also started skateboarding at that time.
But
so
were there
that's
other kids that were into music in general?
not that I remember.
Really? Wow.
I mean, I'm sure there was, but it wasn't.
So you
really...
feel like in your youth, like those primary years are so important. Like it was kind of like your own little world, right? Your music.
Well, I wasn't. I don't think I was like super into music.
Oh, okay.
On the radar as much as I was once I started finding the electronic stuff. Once I started finding that, I don't know though. It's just kind of hard to remember. Yeah. I guess there was just a lot of other stuff going on in my childhood around that time that kind of like took a lot of focus. I don't feel like
we've ever talked about this. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. So I mean, like in Irish school we played the tin whistle. Like you're playing kind of like some traditional songs, some kind of corny stuff. It's kind of generally corny stuff a lot of the time, which didn't really resonate with me. So I think I like some of my mum's music and the music that the adults around me were listening to, but it wasn't like my music. I liked it, and then when I was around 12, that was when I found my music, I guess, and that's when the connection. And
this is through
music.
Your mom's ex.
Through him, and then
CDs.
But then I guess it was just like that kind of electronic music was just so big at the time. So
it was huge.
So met a lot more people that were into it around that. Some older people, and then peers. Like when I started skateboarding, everyone was listening to loads of hip hop and punk, and got really into punk, and then like dub and reggae.
Okay.
Through that as well,
which is typical Irish.
From
my experience.
A lot of people are really into that.
A lot of people got into that sound really early on.
I guess rootsy kind of music is quite big there. So and I mean Ireland is a small country, 6 million people, or it was then, and the music scene in general is really good. Like it's like generally like the more commercial variants of any genre don't. At least when I was growing up, they weren't really that big. It was mainly the more obscure, the more kind of purist kind of stuff, or like really quality dub, reggae, really quality hip hop. Like Irish hip hop was really good, still is really good, and just like people who really are really into the music and really study the craft and like really respect it. And it's just like good quality and good DJs. Good MCs, good parties,
Did Pirate have anything to do with you? Because I know a lot of Irish people listen to Pirate.
Well, I don't think so as much in Ireland. I think that what happened was the regulating laws around that were a lot trickier for people to do. But I wouldn't really know. I mean, there were a few
I'm not talking about pirate radios from Ireland. I'm talking about listening to pirates from the UK.
Yeah, people bring tapes back. We wouldn't be able to pick if you were on.
I understood that a lot of you could actually dial in.
No, well, not where I'm from. On the west coast, so I'm on the Atlantic coast. If you're on the east coast,
maybe
in Dublin, they could get like English TV and probably some pirates.
Right.
Probably, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But in Galway you couldn't, and to get records and stuff, you'd have to travel up to Dublin a lot of the time. So we were kind of cut off in a way. You kind of had to go to Dublin to, like when we were skating, you'd have to go to Dublin to get skateboards and that kind of stuff.
How'd you get into skating?
Just friends, just like friends in high school. When I started high school, some guys in my estate were skating. Just really cool. I think I got bored of team sports as well, because team sports were quite big. I was playing like Gaelic football, the Irish football, and playing soccer and stuff. And I think that's the age where team sports starts to get a bit serious. I was playing, I think in soccer I started playing for a club. I was playing for like the school team, but then I was playing for a club as well, and I liked playing it, but like the guys were just like they were getting into fights with each other, and
they were just taking it more serious
and like crying if they lost, and I was just like I don't know, I just wanted to have fun. So, and skating is like the anti that, like you don't have to be good, you're just rolling around and just like having fun. It's completely, and you're doing it together, so it's a nice group thing, but it's like it's just really kind of free. It's nice. And you don't have to deal with adults, you can do what you want to do.
Were you into any other hobbies besides skating?
I was into drumming. Like that was around the same time I got
Oh,
into
okay.
everything. I remember it all at like being 12, but it was probably maybe I got into drumming when I was 10. I can't really remember, but I started drumming, like kit drumming, or I started on the djembe and went to this kind of semi hippie like drum circle where the guy would teach you that would go and get his djembes in West Africa and bring them back, and then teach people how to play, and that was cool. And then got into kit drumming, and yeah, that was really fun. And then skating, and then DJing. It was probably that kind of order. Or maybe DJing was around, messing around with Dext was around the same time as skating.
So when you were drumming, was it straight up funk you were trying to do?
No, it would have been rock. Like the guy that taught me was a rock drummer, but he would have been into stuff like Steely Dan and Thin Lizzy and like
more disco-y.
Well,
or funk. Because it depends on the era.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess like abstract rock or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So
but like
rock kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like odd time signatures and stuff. But I was a kid, so we were just he was just teaching us stuff to play that was easy. But yeah, I really liked that. That was really fun. And then I got into like James Brown and stuff then through hip hop. So. And that was what I wanted to try and play. And then I think me and my friends, when we were in our early teens, we formed a band and we were playing kind of funk, like psychedelic funk stuff.
When I first met you, I remember that seemed to be like one of your trademarks. Like, this is who Luke is. Like, you were a big hip hop head.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, like it was just really big in Galway. A bunch of my friends were like really good DJs and like MCs and stuff, and they were like competing in the DMCs and stuff like this. So, and they were just really good. Like, so I was just around all these people and like we would all go to the shows and stuff, and people, but a bunch of them then played techno as well, and like it was just we'd go out a lot to shows, to hip hop shows, to Irish hip hop shows, and it's a really small thing there, but it's really passionate.
Did any of those shows have like a lasting effect on you?
I think they were all really good. I can't like there's
just the overall vibe that was
it was pretty broad though. At the same time we were listening to different stuff as well, like, so it's pretty broad. And I guess the people, like, there's a guy called Deviant who's called Naive Ted now. I think he keeps on changing his name, but he I'd go around to his house and he'd be like scratching and practicing and stuff, and it was just it was really cool, like, and very musical, like, so he'd listen to loads of different music, loads of techno, electro, everything, jazz, so I think a lot of the people that I saw playing music were also informed by a really broad range of music, which I guess is how I'm informed as well. It's a really broad range, so they had that too, so they were putting that into like hip hop, for example, and then or
also
techno.
I think that era, that was kind of a big thing, like a fusion of styles in the 90s. That was happening a lot.
I guess just a lot of good music, wasn't it, that people
were really open
it,
to trying things out. I remember that.
So it was good. It was really fun, like, and got to listen to really good quality music. And two of the skaters as well, like people have tapes, and you'd get tapes off people like all the, like Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Souls of Mischief, Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, all that kind of stuff. Like all of that, like, because it was all on like the early Chocolate and Girl videos, like all the Zoo York videos, like all of the 90s skate videos that we'd watch, like, were just like filled with that kind of music. So it was really influential. And punk,
Yeah, it's funny. I was just in Manhattan a few weeks ago, and I was showing the girls, like, this is the shop where Liquid Sky used to be, where there's a local junglist record label / clothing line.
And now what is it now?
Now it's a I forget what it. I didn't really pay that much attention, but across the street from that is where the that skate line started.
Supreme. Yeah.
It's across the street, and it's like in old videos, you'd always see all the skaters in front of the shop.
Yeah, right.
And I remember going to Liquid Sky and always passing by all the damn skaters. We're all troublemakers. And yeah, it's crazy how it's just life, man. Things just change. They grow. You know.
Yeah.
Now that place, the Supreme, is a fucking. I feel like it was like a wine tasting shop or something
okay.
like that.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, who cares about?
I guess that's not the most depressing thing it could
It's
be.
not. It's not. I mean,
it's pretty. It's pretty.
It's kind of late to make fun of New York City because it's
yeah.
changed so many times now that it's just like, what are we talking about? Something that happened fucking decades ago. Yeah, I really want to know, like, it helps people. Like, what I want is to help people, whether they're young or older, to influence them, to show them that there is a way to be involved in our music, to not hold back and not be afraid to try things and make mistakes and stuff. So it's important to me to dig sometimes with the guests to show them that, look, we are all the same, you know?
Yeah.
So I like to dig into, like, what are those things that kind of pushed you forward, you know, to like where you are today. So we're talking now teenage years.
Yeah.
Early teenage years.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything at that time? Were you the leader? Were you one of those, like me? Like, I was one of the guys who was like, yo, I found this new shit. We got to go check this out. And I would drag my cousin and my friends, you know. And
No. I think we were like, the friends I had were all really, really into music.
Yeah.
But they all kind of, a lot of them ended up playing techno. Like I don't know. I might have been one of the first people DJing, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I wasn't really DJing. I was just like playing music and you know, on record players. But everyone around me was really into tunes, so different types of tunes. But like, and we'd cross over a lot. But I think a few of them got more. Yeah, they were just then, as we got into more electronic stuff, they went to techno and I went to like jungle and drum and bass.
Was techno a big thing in Ireland?
Yeah, I mean it still is. Yeah, there's some just really good tech. Like I mean, I don't really know that much about Irish techno really, but when I go back, I see people or like hear about people and they just sound sick. Like there's some one of the guys that's quite famous is Sunhill Sharp, plays records, and plays all over the place.
I'm not aware.
But yeah, there's loads of collectives and for bass music now and stuff. And
that is so interesting to me, man. I would love to hear the techno they make and play.
Yeah, it's
because
pretty.
In my head, I've been to Ireland quite a bit thanks to you, and what I took back from me was that the Irish fucking knew their jungle music and knew their jazz and knew their blues.
Yeah, it'd be the same with techno.
It was like, I never imagined that they'd be into a 4x4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, big, but like good stuff like Plastic Man, you know, like
Detroit.
Yeah, and you know, we would listen to a lot of Dave Clark and Luke Slater and stuff like that as well. Yeah, it was sick. So we'd go out to techno parties, we'd go out to drum and bass parties, we'd go out to hip hop parties, we'd go to reggae parties, and they were all really good, and the DJs were really good, and they wouldn't be getting that many internationals, but sometimes they would, and then that was amazing. That was huge, you know. But it was mainly local and national DJs playing, but they were all really good, you know, really good quality.
So before we move to Barcelona, what is probably the key moment for you in your youth that is part of who you are today? That fire,
like musically?
Yeah.
I guess it was the club. Like we had this club called O'Malley's, and this guy called Ernie. Shout out to Ernie.
Shout out
DJ Ernie DC Fruit and Veg store that his father runs, that he runs as well. And he was like the guy running Jungle Nights in Galway, and they had this because we only recently, I think they've just passed a law that extends the licensing laws in Ireland, but basically,
you mean now present day?
Wow. Yeah, so up until very, very recently, I don't think legally a club existed in Ireland. What clubs were bar extensions
What?
on bars, because they didn't actually legally write into law like a nightclub. So very restrictive with the licensing laws. Things closed very early.
Okay, explain that to me if you know.
Well, they didn't want, things like that in the country.
Was
Again,
it a religious thing?
well, I mean, the church and state were very tight. So is it like
Yeah.
very kind of Catholic
It's like an
state?
anti-drugs thing? Or...
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think they really understood it, maybe. But the law was old and the law never got changed. So there was clubs, but it wasn't actually legally a club. It was like a pub with a function room, maybe upstairs or in the back, and you'd bring the sound system in and then you'd have the party there, which were actually really cool places because they're pretty dingy, dark places, and they're just kind of vibey.
Perfect.
Wooden floors.
Yeah. Oh,
so
love it.
Or carpeted, so it would be good for sound. So yeah, that's what O'Malley's was. O'Malley's, I guess, was a trad music pub, and then they bring the system in, and Friday nights they had jungle, Saturday nights they ended up having a lot of techno and sometimes hip hop, and Sunday nights they'd have something else. So we'd go there all the time, and that's when I heard drum and bass on a sound system. And that was really what changed it for me, because up until then I was like mixing hip hop. I was trying to scratch and stuff. A guy called Ernie.
Oh, it was him. Okay.
Yeah, another guy called Scary. I think G. There was another guy who
Scary.
G. Yeah, G.
Love those 90s names.
Yeah, Scary was a younger guy, and he would like scratch as well. He would like scratch with his elbow. He'd take his shoe off and like stand up and scratch with his toe.
Skills.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, and and it was fun, and yeah, we'd get pretty wasted and go to that and like just have a great time.
Great, man.
Yeah, we have a great time. So yeah.
That was, I could see how that, because I have the similar thing. I have Limelight. That was like a lit a fire in me for sure.
Yeah, so that was the place, that was where we got, and then we'd hear like they would bring, the bassman guys would come down and play that, and then like Code and all the Limerick guys, and Code and B
Shout
from
out to
Limerick, I guess they were called Nuclear Crew at that point.
Right.
And then the guys from Cork, Source and Jet Li, they'd come down, and Judge Dredd was from Belfast, he'd come down. So like all of the DJs from around the country of Ireland would play there, and so you'd start to hear, and then we'd travel down we'd go to Dublin, or we'd go to Cork or to Limerick to see Jungle there and see them play there. And there was some festivals and stuff, some small DIY kind of festivals. Yeah, it was a really cool, it was great. And the DJs were all really good. They all had a really different style, different sound.
And I could see how by now that style of jungle was probably really calling to you,
Yeah, it was great. But it was mixed, because Ernie would play more kind of, not jump up stuff, I get. Well, maybe like old jump up stuff.
Yeah.
Or like more dance floor stuff mixed in with
Maybe
loads
some
of other
stuff.
Yeah, he'd play a mixed bag, and then the basement guys would be playing their sound, and the Limerick guys would be playing more choppage. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, big mix. Yeah. And so that was the place. That's when I started DJing jungle and drum and bass, because it's like I heard it on the big system. I was going out every Friday when I was like 15. Yep. Sneaking into that place and with my friends, and just like having an amazing time and just being blown away by the music, and then because it had so much energy, so it's like the energy.
See, this is why we must remember to fucking respect the little kids who somehow sneak into these clubs and stuff, man, because you never know, man. Yeah, they could be a DJ Tamen in the future. It's fucking true, man. I was going to raves when I was too young as well, and did you have that same kind of eureka moment that I did? I remember laying down in Limelight, and it was like an hour before it closed. The sun's coming through the stained glass windows and stuff, and I feel like it was DJ Gonzo DJing a trance set, and I was just so in love with the moment. And I remember laying back and just watching the sun rays like moving up slowly while techno was going nuts in the room. And I remember thinking, this is me, this is what I want to do. I don't know if you ever had a moment like that. You don't have to, I'm just saying, like,
I don't know, but I was just really locked into the music, because then like my granny lives in where I was born in Cambridge, or she lives in the village outside it, so every year I would go to Christmas there, and I would go to London and buy loads of records. So I'd go to Black Market Records,
shit.
and I'd go, like in Cambridge, they did have a little bit of a scene at
And
some
that
point.
itself is very influencing.
So I'd get to go, you know, I got to go to a few little things in Cambridge. I got to go to some things in London and kind of sneak in when I was underage. And they were sick, like, because then, you know, it's very close to London. It's that London sound. Everything's pretty vibe. Serious.
Yeah.
And just like really, serious beats, I guess. And then, I think one of the other times that was really, I remember is we went to Creamfields. It was like the first Irish Creamfields as a festival. And Metalhead had a tent there. And I got to see like Bailey, Storm, Digital, Goldie, Fats.
Full lineup, man. Nice.
Clarkey.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, all of them like playing back to back and like playing. It was kind of around the time of when Digital had a lot of those tracks, like on that track on Creative
Phantom Force stuff.
Yeah, but like around it was probably all around the same time. The stuff he had on Creative Source.
Oh yeah, okay.
12.
Yeah.
The kind of the 2000-y stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just like really sick, kind of darker.
Yeah, rolling.
Yeah. So
Dubby.
that was and we
Shout
got
out to Digital.
Yeah, and going down to
The
Limerick.
Spirit.
I think going down to Limerick and seeing Coldplay. I think seeing Coldplay was really influential because
Code is such a good DJ, man.
Yeah, he's really good, and he was bringing over all the In Perspective guys like Senses and Chris In Perspective and Equinox and all these guys and
Welsh.
0 and like so all that kind of drum funk stuff. So that was huge. I guess that was when I was in my. I guess that was probably when I was.
It's 2000s.
Probably when I was already here, but I'd go back to.
I would say it was before that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was
because
continuing then.
I came in
here.
2004. It was towards the end of Offshore.
Yeah, I mean it continued though, because every time I go back for Ireland
I'm
from
sure.
Here,
Of course.
They were running things, running a lot of parties and stuff. So, there was it was just a lot of good music and a lot of good like jungle drum and bass, stuff going on. Yeah.
Sorry, that was my alarm to feed my dog.
Okay.
So, you come to Barcelona. What year? 2003?
Yeah, something like that.
2003, because I arrived 2004.
Yeah, I would have been here a little while. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what at the moment? I know the story, but for those who don't know, why the move?
Kind of similar to Australia. I guess I came here on a holiday with my dad when I was 18, and he had a friend here who actually my dad's friend ran the sound system in O'Malley's, which was the first club I went to.
Frank,
and he moved to Barcelona and ended up having like he had a studio in El Clot, and I think in that studio, just randomly, Boo from Dubsalona I think was using that studio as well. But
shout out to Boo and Dubsalona crew.
Yeah, and Gonzalo and all the kind of a bunch of South American crew that were there doing different art. Boris and his brother Topo, and they were doing really interesting stuff. Anyway, they had this nave, they had this like warehouse in Clot. I kind of met them then, and then when I was 19, I moved back to Ireland. I told my friends, was like, Barcelona's amazing, and I was skating at the time, so Barcelona was like the best place to skateboard in the world. So we'd seen it on all the videos, and they were like, let's go to Barcelona. So we moved out home, got a job, lived together, and then all of us that were in the same house, me, Keane, Sean, we all moved to Barcelona, and lived together for a while with Joey and a bunch of us from Galway. And then they ended up living in squats, and I'd brought my turntables over. I think I sold my Technics that I had in Galway and bought ones here, and I think I kind of made a decision that living in a squat was going to be, it was just a bit tricky. I probably would have lived in them, gone in the squats with them, but just having records and turntables and stuff was like,
you don't want that in a squat.
Well,
You
you
don't.
know, I
For
could
parties
see.
is great, but to keep your shit around.
Yeah, it's just tricky because the places they were staying in weren't very secure, so
Yeah.
you could get kicked out any moment anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I ended up staying. They ended up going back to Ireland, and I ended up staying. But yeah, we were like really excited to be here. And
So when I met you in 2004, did you already have an apartment, or were you still squatting? I remember. No, I feel like you were at Clot.
We stayed in Clot. We stayed in the van for a little while, but that was only like a couple of months. We were sleeping in the van.
I don't know why. I feel like you were.
But then we
Sorry
then we had a place up in Calle Talleres in yeah.
Okay, so maybe I met you like right before you moved in there.
Maybe, yeah. So I think the first, I can't remember how many months we were in the van, but this guy Frank had a van and he let us stay in it, and we would just come into Barcelona, and like there was I think it's called Kabul. It's like a kind of a very upmarket like hostel for rich Americans, and because we looked the way we look at the time, I wouldn't have looked very Spanish. We could just walk in and go for a shower. So I think we'd shower there and just like skate all day and eat mouse falafel once a day and recycle food and stuff like this. It's really fun. But just had no money, and then we got this place in Calle Talleres where it was like, I think I paid like €50 a month for rent.
That's nuts.
Keen paid 40. Joy paid 30.
Nuts.
It was really cheap.
That is crazy cheap.
This old woman.
That's not even the word cheap. That's basically free.
Yeah, but the woman who's had the lease, it was her grandmother's place, and she was a nurse, and she would kind of come around and check she was just a bit strange. She was nice, but she was strange. And yeah.
Yeah,
so
I remember
we got a really good deal. Did you ever meet her, Pilar? She had like colorful hair. Yeah.
I remember her.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
I
funny.
remember the first time you invited me to your place to DJ with you, and I was like, "Oh wow, this place is crazy!" And like, we're gonna DJ in these turntables that are set up on. I feel like it was like a
plank or something.
Yeah, like a plank or something, and it was like right next to your bed, and it was super uncomfortable.
It's beautiful.
But it was so much fun. You know, just
it was a handy place to live. It was no sunlight in that place, so it was pretty good. It was pretty depressing, really, in some ways, but it was so close to everything. So it was really cheap. So So just I think the first year, maybe year and a half, nearly 2 years. I think I lived off DJing. Like I got a residency with Pilar in
Charles.
In Zentraus on the Wednesday, and then I was playing with Tom on the Sundays, and I was renting him my mixer as well.
Oh yeah.
And then I think I just had a few little things that were very little money, but were enough to pay the really cheap rent, and I ate very cheaply. And
you hustled, man.
Yeah, it was.
But you were happy. I remember.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was an adventure. So, and it was all new for me, So I was trying to learn the language. 19?
Yeah, that's what you do when you're 19, man. You take a risk and you just do it. You have fun.
It was fun. It was fun. Difficult as well because I didn't speak any Spanish or Catalan, so I was learning as I was going, but I was learning through just being around people that only spoke Spanish, which was very slow. It was very slow. So
especially in Barcelona, because a lot of people here speak English. So So when they see that you look, of English language, they will normally try to speak to you first in English before they try to speak to you in Spanish or Catalan. So usually the first language you speak to somebody is what you end up speaking them in. It's kind of hard to like switch over. But
it was fun, man. I was DJing a lot, and that was really fun. And then I was playing drums because I brought my drums over, and I got into a band with Simon Jabitat, who's now goes under Sunny Graves, who had released with
Shout out to Simon.
Yeah, shout out to Simon. And we started like I played in these crazy places with him because his music was amazing. So he had all these dates in, and I had the first gig I ever played as a drummer was in the Apollo. So that was like.
That's
crazy. It's like, and it was full.
Makes no sense.
It's fucking crazy amount of people.
I was there.
You would have been. That. I was so nervous.
You were.
But it was and then
You played Sonar.
Did we?
Yep. I remember that.
No.
Yeah,
no,
with Javitat.
No, we played like a different. It was like.
But it
different
was in
festivals.
Macba.
It was in Macba, but that wasn't Sonar.
It wasn't Sonar?
It was some other.
Maybe. Oh, maybe it was the La Merced.
No,
Yeah, I feel like it was.
It was with Edan and
Yeah,
these people, but
I
it was a
remember that.
particular. It was I can't remember. It had a particular name. It was a hip hop festival, like an alternative hip hop festival.
Okay.
With Dos Dedos, who was
Yep.
DJing for us, and then
Yeah.
the guy doing the visuals, the Argentinian guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh.
He did the little people.
Gustavo?
Mm,
No.
no. Anyway, he was sick, so it was really cool. So I was doing that as well. So
Yeah.
doing all these. Really
By then,
cool
you were
things.
already in the collective. Well, we had already formed Surco.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because I remember going to see you and saying to Julia, my wife, that's crazy. This kid, he's in my collective. He's so young. He's so talented. And look, he's drumming with this band. I remember saying that to her.
All right. Okay.
So.
Yeah, man, it was great, man. That was really cool. But yeah, that was that was how I started in Barcelona. So it was really, there was a lot happening, and I was able to make, and that's when I was like, I think before then in my teenage years, I was like, I want to just DJ and make music, and then I was able to do that here.
Yeah.
I wasn't making much money, but I was surviving just playing music for a few years. So it was kind of like it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
I remember we can talk a little bit about Surco.
Yeah.
And Django.
Yeah.
I remember the day that we met. It was at a gig that I had with Tom at God, what was that place called?
Tom is MC Stormy.
MC Stormy.
DJ MC Stormy.
Shout out to DJ MC promoter.
DJ MC Stormy.
Rapper.
Does he still DJ MC Stormy?
He does DJ.
He does DJ.
Oh, look who's saying hello.
Stormy.
Hello, Mr. Chower. First message. Un saludo, bro.
Yes.
Big shout out to you, bro. I listen to you. I'm paying attention to the chat.
Yeah, we're watching the chat right now, man.
I'm watching
we're
the
watching
chat.
the chat.
And it says Chower, aka
Live.
Cantic, saludos, brothers.
Connection.
And heart.
Yeah, big up, man.
Love you, bro. Yeah, so I remember you came up to me, and I remember that night you were the only person that came up to me and was like, yo, DJ was great, your music was great, we should, here's my phone number. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. Someone I can
that
talk
was
to.
in
That was Citycar.
No, in Citycar, yeah. Citycar was sick, man. That was a cool spot, man, on the Sundays
Yeah, it's such a weird place though.
But I went there.
The
every
vibe
week.
that they had there was good.
It was really good.
The vibe was good.
Yeah,
I gave more credit to the promoter, to Finn and Nadia.
Miss Bamboo.
Yeah, Miss Bamboo.
Yeah, she was sick.
And Stormy, and what was the name of that other kid? Another message from Cantic. Fun fact: Tamen was the first guy I made music with here in Barnet.
Yeah, man, I remember that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, fun times.
Well, let's finish my thought, and then we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
So, so who was the Latin guy who was also with them? Dark-skinned kid. Man, he was also DJ. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, there was a bunch of people, man. They were all really good as well. Yeah, Miss Bamboo was sick. I wonder what happened to her.
She moved to the UK.
Yeah, she moved back. Yeah, I wonder if she still DJs.
Oh, I don't know. I remember she came back to visit like a couple of years ago. And I saw her and got to talk to her. I think it was at one of Tom's things, Stormy's things.
Yeah, nice.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who was back in the day. Barcelona was different, huh?
Yeah. Well, there was all the rave scene was like huge. So the raves
So the question I wanted to ask you was, how did you? Why did you believe me? Because I had never done a party in my life, and yet you were like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's do parties together."
I think because I think that night I saw you play. I think the first time I saw you play was at See the Car.
It was definitely there.
No, it was in fucking Perros Lunáticos. No, where's the place Mazeta lived?
Could be.
You know the place in Val d'Horta?
Yeah.
Valdebron. Valdebrun, they had a house in Occupy
Yep,
there, and
that
they
was Occupy.
they had the sótano, they had the
Yep.
basement, and they would do parties there.
Yep.
And I saw you play there, I think, first.
Okay.
I think you had a basketball jersey on or something. With Mota? With your cousin? What's your cousin's name?
I don't know who you're
Jerry.
talking about.
Jerry's Crone, but Mosse.
Oh,
No,
Mosse.
no. Yeah, Mosse.
Mosse, yeah.
What was
But
his
he's
name?
not my cousin.
I thought he was your cousin.
Not at all.
You're not related?
Not at all. No, if you want, I can explain that story.
Well, like, what's the connection?
I went into Bajo Presión. Shout out to Bajo Presión.
No, but he was
Yeah, well, let me explain.
not Crone, the other, Mosse.
Mosse. Yeah, let
Ah.
me explain. So I went in there and I introduced myself and I said,
Yeah.
I'm a junglist and I'm moving to Barcelona.
Right.
And I'd like to meet you people when I arrive, blah, 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 blah.
Ah, okay.
Boo wrote me.
Yeah,
And he said, listen, my cousin is going to be in New York.
Oh.
And so
So
Mosse,
he's Boo's cousin.
yeah.
Oh,
Mosse
hilarious.
came with his parents.
Yeah,
and his,
yeah,
and
yeah.
his, I forget, I think it was a brother or something. And I got off work and I just hung out with Mosse and then we
Yeah.
went to see Foltec play.
Oh, cool. Right, okay.
and then when I
okay.
came back to
That
Barcelona,
was the
the first people
connection.
I knew were
Was-
Mosse,
and Boo,
and then I met Boo and
Yeah,
met
yeah.
all the Barcelona crew.
Yeah, right, okay.
And they're the ones who were doing that party at that squad.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay,
that's
yeah.
why I was playing.
Yeah,
it.
so I think I saw you play there, and then I saw you play, I think, a little bit after in Tom's party on the Sunday in City Car in Plaza Real. And yeah, you were playing tunes that I had, and I hadn't seen anyone play.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
I
that.
hadn't seen anyone play like a Paradox record.
Right.
Anyone. So you're the first person that played all these records that I had that I was like, whoa, someone actually here plays this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it was pretty exciting because
Yeah.
I
That's
hadn't
how
really,
I felt with you as well.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard many. I hadn't heard that music,
Yeah.
and that was the music that was really big in Ireland. That was really kind of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting played much here, so
Yeah.
that was. So I was really enthusiastic about it because I was like, that's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff I wanted to play.
So you were kind of blindly, maybe youth, right? You were like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. I don't know. I just feel like that was brave. You know what I mean? Because I needed you and I needed Mosse and I needed Grone.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah, I mean neither.
So-
But I mean I wasn't working full time or anything. So I was like, I was just trying to DJ. So I was like, great, I get to
Yeah.
play more tunes and like
Yeah.
connect with more people here. So it was exciting, man. Yeah, and they were very passionate as well. Mosse and Crone, they were like,
Yeah, they
you know,
were.
really
They were
into
very-
Neurofunk.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Shout out to Mosse and Grone.
so you know, it was fun, man.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So, talk to me about this.
Oh,
This message from Tower.
yeah. Well, I think it was probably
When was this?
Man, I don't know. It was when he first arrived, I guess. I think I might have been making music a bit with Danny with 7 Cents.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we were trying to make tunes together for a bit, and I'd been making tunes with Iko. And before that, I'd started making tunes with Alien Kid, and that was like the first person I really kind of got into the studio with and like started learning from. So I kind of knew how to do that, to be in the studio with someone and like
Yeah.
trash out ideas.
Yeah.
I've never been the most technical person, but like Char was pretty technical, so it was fun. It was fun.
What were you making?
We're making drum and bass. Yeah, I think we made some half-step stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of finished stuff, but it was kind of, I think we were just getting to the point of like getting into the groove when I left, or
Right.
then I got busy and we left, so it kind of,
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely learned a lot. It's always interesting working with different people because they come with different, different
Arsenal.
backgrounds,
Yeah.
different approaches. Yeah, like Chara's very musical. He does a lot of melodies and stuff. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And he's coming from a different place as well. He's coming from afar,
He's
coming to
also an
Barcelona.
immigrant.
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
got his
yeah.
own unique flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. Much love
Yeah.
to you, Chow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So, what?
We did the Beyonce. Oh man, that was sick.
Oh,
I found it. I think
I'm
I
sorry,
found it.
There's a message from
Yeah.
Tower again saying
Yes.
we were doing a Beyonce.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
found
bootleg.
a Beyonce. I think I found the sample. I think so, and I was like, this
That's
will be sick.
really gross, guys.
It was fucking awesome. It sounded really good. It just sounded really good in
What
that.
happened to it?
I can't remember. I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if we finished
That's the
it. But
kind
it
of
was.
stuff you put up on SoundCloud. I made this when I was 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, But yeah, it was cool. I just like, I think I get really excited with samples, you know, so it's really fun recontextualizing stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Do you like making bootlegs?
Well, it's fun. Yeah, I just made a tune
I've never
recently,
tried ever.
but not really a bootleg. I don't really want to make a bootleg. I mean, I feel like bootleg's a bit of a cheap term these days. You know what I mean? Like, if
it is,
because you should DJ and then you should make like a bootleg. You should just take a tune that's kind of shit and then put something underneath it, and then it's like you've got.
But I've made an edit that I've been hearing is like personal remixes of good tunes.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's like, why? That's not really. Is that cool?
Who knows, man? I mean,
is that like acceptable?
Well, I don't know.
I remember a very famous DJ that we all know about who used to go around beating up people who tried to sample his tracks.
Yeah. Oh, well, you just don't want to get kicked down the stairs by Goldie,
basically.
Fucking, you know.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's surprising that now it's turned around to the point where it's like, I made my own remix of Bambata. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. If it's good, it's good. I don't.
Of course. There's see, but that's the thing. There's a discussion from like the DJ point of view, and then from like the scene point of view. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I just take the music. I think I want to take the music because I guess when I think of bootlegs, it's kind of like a thing in, you know, dance music, and if you see DJs who are trying to make the next thing. Become a producer, the thing they might do is start doing edits of tracks, and I think that's probably a good way into production, really. Actually, it's a stepping stone into making original music.
I think
right?
when you're doing bootlegs, I never made one, but I feel like when you're making a bootleg, it's probably easier to hear the mistakes.
Maybe it's just something fun so you can play, like you have a tune that you like, and then you make a little edit of it. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe they're different thing. Edits and bootlegs. I actually don't know. But sampling is really fun. Like, I get inspired a lot by hearing something that I really like, and then like making it into a tune.
So what is the earliest memory you have of creating your own music?
I guess in the bands, you know, like when I was a teenager, we had the band, and we were like playing original music and just jamming, you know. So that's how I started making music, was through jamming on the drums, and then like through those jams you'd create a song, and then you'd kind of hash out the structure from that, but it was through kind of vibing with other people, spontaneously, kind of being pretty free with it and just seeing what emerges. And I think that's probably how I make music these days. You know, that's the fun part, is just kind of seeing what sticks and seeing what you both come up with. I really want to talk a lot about that, but we should probably finish the timeline. What do you take away from the years that you were in Jungle Surco, in Barcelona? I mean, there's a lot, man. I mean, it's a big chunk of my life. I think it was like my life was focused around doing the events we were doing, because we were pretty much doing monthly events, and then some years we were doing weekly events for, you know, the 12 years. I was here 13 years. I think 12 years we were 14 years working. So really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, the 14 years was like, I think there's probably 12 years though where out of those 14 that we're either doing monthly or weekly parties. The first 2 years were like probably 1-2 parties a year. It was just trying to figure it out. Maybe, yeah. But, you know, like, it was constant. So it was like everything was focused around that and getting it to work, and like the struggles. It was a lot of work, wasn't it? Yeah, it was loads of work. It was all the energy and focus and passion went into that. That was the project. What would you have done different? Nothing, man. You know, nothing. Yeah. I mean, you can't. I don't know. Like. Yeah. I mean. No, I'm asking because maybe, you know, some people think about things like that. Nah, I don't. I mean, I think I kind of look at things, I guess, like you're doing the best you could with what you had at the time. Yeah. You know, that's how really you could argue any behavior. You could look at any behavior of any person, and that's you're doing with what you could with the capacity, awareness, energy you had at the time. So I think we were really passionate about it, and it was amazing to see it come to fruition. Like, you know, with the circle nights when we had Lanao and Poblano, like we ended up doing those weekly parties where we had maybe a run it's probably the bones of a year
Probably.
of doing weekly Saturdays or Fridays and then Saturdays where we had a international guest every month, and we had the VJs on the huge wall. It was sick. Those parties were so
were really
good.
Yeah.
And then in all of them, like even in Razzmatazz, like that had its thing. And then in Upload as well, like before I left, man, that was like such a sweet spot because we had gotten to this point where we some nights we were getting like 500 people and bringing our heroes to DJ, and the sound was really good. We got all the details down. It was fucking sick. So that's amazing, man. That's like an amazing experience, just to be present and be aware while it's happening. I think in like the circle days, I was just so stressed out all the time trying to figure, trying to troubleshoot stuff as it came, that I was harder to enjoy the parties. Whereas in the now, in Upload, I was being able to enjoy them. And it was fun, man. It was really, really cool. But it's kind of a focus, it's like I was really focused on that. That was what I was doing. I was working to be able to do that. And I guess it's hard because you only have one thing. I had like the one thing that I was really passionate about.
Worked really hard.
There
was a lot of stuff.
So when I think I needed, like, now I have the psychotherapy stuff, which I'm really passionate about. So I have this other thing that I'm really, really love, and it gives me future, It gives me a job,
Give you the base.
And community and stuff, and I have music. So I think I probably needed something like that to stabilize me a bit. But at the same time, if I had that, maybe I wouldn't have put as much energy into the music. So I feel like I just reap the benefits of it now. You know what I mean? So happy I did it.
Just to end that conversation, I will say that what I took away from all those years is probably how unaware we are of what's going on until it's done. You know what I mean?
Right,
then you can look back and go, Jesus, that was crazy what we did. That was a lot of hard work. People don't even understand the layers of how difficult it was what we did.
I was but like, it was such a energy, like I remember, like, you'd the times where we'd bring the sound system, we'd bring it up to get it from the warehouse, and then end of the party, take it back to the warehouse, and it would be like 8 a.m, 9 a.m, 10 a.m, getting to sleep,
and then getting an afternoon call from Egris
or whatever. I mean, but it was,
what'd you think of last night? Who was the best DJ? Did you remember all of that stuff? It was non-stop, man.
It was kind of obsessive, I guess, in a way. But that's how you create something, like you have to be really into it, or else it doesn't really happen, or it happens, but it's kind of half-assed, so like I was really proud of what we did and what we created, and it was just really nice seeing those parties, and then like having that they had such a vibe to them. Some, the nights were up and down, but a lot of them had a real like electric vibe to it, and it was so good because we worked at the programmation really well, of like the intensity of the night and the artists we picked to play, and it was all intentional. So it was really, it was great.
Okay, so you start producing. You move to Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I don't know how you guys say it over there.
You could say it like that.
Melbourne. So you're kind of like starting new. I need to meet new people. I need a job to get a visa. I want to get involved in the scene.
I was already, because I'd met these people that came like to stay on my couch. And I'd already played shows. The community radio is a big thing there. So I played on the community radio show, the bass music jungle show that my friend had. So when I came back, like, he hooked me up with him and the partner, the musical partner, Emmeline and Bevan and Dave. Like they were all involved in slightly different scenes, but all really connected within the alternative music scene in Melbourne. And so I already knew everyone that I needed to know in a way. And then all the jungle people there were like super happy to have someone new in town, and like I played loads of shows with them. And they had this club called Grumpy's, which was like a hub for music. It was amazing. It was like a bar really, but with a sound system. And they'd have everyone. They'd have like Sam Binga, their Paradox. Everyone was playing there every weekend.
Shout out to both of them.
Yeah. So shout out to Ben and all the Grumpy's crew. Yeah, so it was really cool. So a little bit after I arrived, there was this kind of hub venue, and so I met everyone who was involved in the music that I liked was going to that club. And I think before there was like a few really big promoters, and it was very hard to get in, and they kind of ran things.
Okay.
And then it changed, and then it was all the smaller promoters, and they all worked together. And this was like a small venue, but everyone was like collaborating together. It was very family. Everyone was, it was very open and collaborative, and everyone was really friendly. They weren't tearing each other's posters down. It was like completely opposite of that. So it was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I started making tunes with people there. There's a guy called Sebastian, big up Intech, and started messing around with him with tunes and a few other people. And then met Pugilist, who he'd arrived pretty much the same time as me in Melbourne. So
okay. Where's he from?
He grew up in Glasgow, but he moved to New Zealand when he was a young teen. Okay. So I don't know, I guess we have some kind of
He's mixed.
Some kind of similarity in that, like being from the same part of the world in a way. And he had just started to create his Pugilist moniker. He was in I can't remember the name of the collective he's in. They had releases on Tempa and everything. He was part of a duo, Perverse, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they made like dubstep and from New Zealand, and he had like a career with that, and then started his moniker as Pugilist as a solo artist around the time that I met him, or a little bit after. And his friends from New Zealand, this guy Scott has a label, Modern Hypnosis, and they were doing stuff, and just all really lovely guys. And started making music with him. And from the start, it was just quite easy, and I think we both liked what we were making. Yep. And he was just starting. He hadn't really made like jungle or 170 stuff really, or used breakbeats much, and I was really into using breakbeats. So like, he was coming from a different angle. I was coming from a different angle.
Why did you guys decide to start working?
I liked his tunes, and I asked him if he wanted to like have a go at being in the studio together, having a jam, and we did, and we made a tune. I think the first time we met, we made a tune that we were happy with, and I think it's finally getting released on Subtle Audio.
No way.
I think.
Connor.
Yeah, cold man. I think it's happening. It's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's forthcoming on Subtle Audio.
That's amazing.
Which is like...
It's better than nothing.
It's like one of the labels I always wanted to release on, so it's amazing. And that was like the first tune we made.
Yeah, so. I fucking love Subtle Audio.
Yeah. So that was like a really good start. And then we just continued, and it was just learning how to work together. But like, yeah, it was really enjoyable, really fun.
So how did you guys end up becoming a unit?
We just continue to make tunes together.
With each other.
Yeah, just continue to, because we live in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
He lives up the road from me now, so yeah, there's a few. I think last year we just like, sometimes I was there like every day for a while. And just banging out tunes. It's really fun. He's we're starting to make a lot of different tempo stuff now. We have been for a little while, which is really fun for me. Making 100 BPM stuff, or 120 or 130 or 140. And we have an EP of that stuff coming out on Modern Hypnosis soon.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we have one tune to finish, which we should hopefully finish quickly. I don't know what we have to figure out what we're going to do for the last tune.
Don't get in trouble.
But so thanks to Scott for that. Yeah, so it's nice, man. It's just a lot of people, very encouraging. A lot of with Alex, it's just been sick. And then I met a couple of other people, like this guy who's also called Luke Pod, he has a million. He's a million monk ears. He makes techno, really good techno artist. He makes a lot of different genres. He has releases on Eric Coutier. You know Eric Coutier?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a different world. Modern. I'm not really up to speed on techno these days, but yeah, he makes sick music. He has a bit of hardware. He kind of comes from a jazz background like me, so we've been making tunes together, and having a bit more hardware is really fun.
Yeah, I know.
So messing around with a few little toys and jamming it out. But I'd bring samples, and then we'd mess around with some hardware and jam it out and throw it together, and it's really fun.
Awesome.
Again, really fun. So there's been and other people as well, but they're two kind of key people that I've been collaborating with a while now, that we work well together and we enjoy what comes out. So it's like a blessing, you know, because it's like a relationship. It's hard to find that combo like that. So I found a few people like that, and then now in London, with Blood Trust, getting in the studio with him, and just now
That's
being able
exciting,
to,
man.
we're making tunes. So hopefully we finish them soon, and it's really fun as well. So I'm able to get in the studio with different people now, and I'm used to doing that. So it's great. Really enjoy it, man. Really
so how
enjoy
does it feel to be out and about playing and having your name associated with these labels? And does it feel like you're like, do you feel complete, or do you feel empty, or do you feel I'm just trying to show like the different levels that, you know, there are people out there, believe it or not, who are famous producers who hate their life.
Yeah, of course. It's not just because you make music doesn't
but
mean
I'm
that
talking
you
about
have
I'm talking about more
content.
like your process starting from when you were a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal. I mean, it's really surreal, and it also makes sense. Like it feels quite natural.
Yeah.
But because you know, through the parties we did, you know, we gradually met people like Pressure from Samurai.
Yep.
And like I get on really well with him. He stayed at our house.
Yeah.
You know, and met his partner, and like just a lovely guy, and then met him in Melbourne when he played there, and just a lovely guy, and you know, developing a relationship with Rupture and them and all these people, and they're just really nice people. They're just human beings, and you get to know them as human beings, and and I think then having music that they like that we've made. And I feel very fortunate, you know. I mean, I'm really well positioned because I know them,
right?
But I guess hopefully that it's the music that speaks for itself. Really, they vibe the music, you know. And I guess I know them because
I don't think they would.
No,
they don't give me the vibe. To be the kind of people who would be like, I'm gonna play my friend's music.
Yeah. But I guess I know them because we vibe musically anyway. That's why we booked them to play, and that's why I'd go to their parties. You know, it's like we're in a similar pool of influences, I guess, or so it's awesome, man. It's like it's like bucket list kind of stuff that I wouldn't have really thought about.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
Yeah, I would never have thought of like releasing music on labels that then people that are like here would be playing. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. No, but at the same time, it's just like I'm just going in the studio and making tunes and continuing to make tunes, and I'm just doing that, and that's what happens. Yeah. It's great. It's really, really lovely, man. Really lovely.
We're running out of time, bro. We have half an hour left.
Okay.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's gone by now. That's gone by quick.
So we have half an hour to talk about present day.
Yeah.
So what's going on now?
Yeah, well, musically, I guess is what I've just been talking about. Like, me and Alex, me and Boo just have been continuing to make music. We have a bunch of forthcoming stuff. Me and Luke, me and Pod, same, making a bunch of music and have some forthcoming stuff. I think with Alex, we have this lower tempo EP that's, you know, in the works for One Hypnosis. We have an EP coming out with Samurai. And we have another EP that's kind of pending for another label that's really, you know, benchmark stuff for us that's pending. and we're just continuing to make loads of tunes.
Yeah.
So, and then with Luke, we have an EP coming out on Echo Chamber, which is all mastered now, and I think Pugilist has done a 140 remix of one of the tunes. It's kind of like a horsepower production kind of vibe, which is really, really fun. And that'll be coming out. That might be one of the first ones to come out. I'm not sure. There's not a release date, but I think it'll be released on 10-inch, and then Digi. And then we just continue to make music. So it's just kind of trying to make music, and then trying to.
Is there a goal?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's just to continue to make music that I like and be able to. I guess the tricky part is that, well, it's not really tricky, but it's not something I can control. But sometimes as an artist, you're like, well, like there's tunes that I really, really like that we've made that might not get signed. So It's like, well, then trying to, I'm working and studying full time, so I just don't really have much headspace for organization or kind of thought with music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it would be great to kind of do something with a lot of stuff, because we're making new stuff all the time, and it's not to put out everything we make, but there's a lot of tunes that I really rate that I would like to put out in some capacity. So looking into that, I think that's I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's kind of the pending stuff in terms of the productions coming out.
Yeah, I mean, the question is in general, for you as a person, you know what I mean? You're coming here every summer, so you're
trying to
get some quality time with family.
Yeah.
Gig a little.
Yeah.
Produce a little.
Yeah.
Then you get back home and you're studying.
Yeah, I'm studying. I'm doing the last year degree in psychotherapy, and I'm working as a psychotherapist. Once I finish my degree, I can start, hopefully a pathway to getting residency in Australia. That's really why I'm studying further. I'm enjoying it though. But it's been very tricky, very balance act kind of vibe, because once, I have I have 12 weeks and I have 9 essays in 12 weeks to write, and they take time.
Jesus.
And they're difficult and
Crazy.
And then working and then doing music and gigging and stuff. So it's interesting, because then if I'm gigging on the weekend, then I can't really study, so but I'm learning a lot through study, and that's really it's really inspiring me, because I'm learning all this stuff. I wasn't really into school that much. When I went to school, I wasn't very academic, and now I'm really getting into reading and writing about stuff, and it's stuff that I really enjoy. So that's that's my focus at the moment. That and making tunes is it, and work, So it's good. All the stuff I'm doing is stuff that I generally enjoy. Some of it's quite hard, but
let me rephrase the question that I asked you before. I was just realizing that there was a better way to ask you. When you're DJing out, because I know how you are as a DJ. You're very much like myself. We like to read the room. How do you balance that with showing your releases, like your music, your new stuff, and the stuff that's been released and that kind of stuff?
It changes, man. It's changing all the time. It's been really interesting, noticing, I think coming from Barcelona, I think I had to get really good at working, music that I really like into a set to make it really work.
Right.
And now I'm realizing these days I can actually play the music I really want to play, and people are going to vibe to it.
Right.
Because
I'm
already gonna DJ in a way that will work the crowd.
Right.
I'd probably do that anyway.
Yeah.
But I can lean more into playing my own productions and playing deeper stuff.
Do you think that's because of your releases, or do you think that's because the electronic music scene has changed?
Both.
In general? Both.
Yeah, because the electronic music scene is completely different now. I can play anything really, and I can make it work, and it's not a big deal for the crowd, I think. Yep. And then I'm also listening to stuff that is more abstract, maybe, and then I've got all this stuff that I've made that I've starting to getting more used to playing a lot of my own productions in the sets, and that's really fun. And then it's really it's grown. It's different. It's different. Recently, the shows I've played a bunch of stuff of releases or a bunch of stuff that's the productions that haven't come out or that are forthcoming or whatever. And yeah, it's really cool, and I get to actually appreciate the tunes more, because I think you get bored of them, or sometimes you're like, I don't know about that one, I don't know why people like that or whatever, even if it's signed, and then starting to play it a bit. And then there's loads of tunes that I've made that have maybe come out I've never played out. So it's fun, because you get to kind of go, you get this completely different angle on the piece of music you made. Yeah. Because now you're seeing it through the eyes of someone else.
The eyes of everyone else, yeah.
And you're mixing it in and making it into a set.
Making it work, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fun, man.
Yeah.
And it's different.
Yeah, I'm sure it what's the word? Influences, but in the most positive way to say it.
Yeah.
Influences your music production.
Yeah.
In a positive way, not.
Yeah, I mean, DJing has always influenced my music production. So I'm always like, general, right. I'm making stuff that I want to play.
Right.
But but now the production influences my DJ sets, and that's really cool. Because then there's shit change.
Sorry, you're playing tomorrow at Big
Karma.
I always say this name wrong. Big Karma.
Yeah. Big Karma with Big Tom.
Yeah,
Big Tommy
and Morwena. It's a dubstep event. What are you playing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna play dubstep, but I'm just gonna pitch it up to 170.
Oh, love
That's
it.
what I'm gonna do.
You can do that with
yeah. Well, Tom said, big up Tom. He said I can kind of do whatever. So he said it's a dub to jungle. That was one of their original kind of ideas. But at the same time, I've been playing a lot of sets where I start low and then go high.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just going to see what the person before me plays.
Yeah.
And maybe start there and then go up in BPM. So maybe I start at 140 and go up. Yeah. Yeah, probably do that. I'm not really sure though. Yeah. But I think that's the fun part about playing. Right. Now I'm playing a lot of more different varied BPM sets, and I've got all this music that I really like, and that's a whole new thing for me as well, in a way, now being able to play more and more sets where I can play whatever. I don't have to stick to a BPM, and it's actually sick. It's really fun. So
it's funny, my experiences, very few experiences recently, but in Barcelona is we got to a point where we could play straight up jungle and people would appreciate it. And then I started to wanting to play these kind of sets, like going up in tempo, because I was like, I can play whatever I want. Yeah. And they just, I don't know, it's been hard. It's been difficult. It's
the setting though, isn't it, man?
It is the setting.
You know,
it is the setting.
The setting's right. You can. Yeah.
So let's see. We have an hour. Tom is listening. Stormy.
Yeah, that's why I shouted them out.
Big up, and Grish. Big up. There's two guys who've been in the scene for a while.
Yeah, man.
Stormy's already been
Grish
here.
and Tom, they could actually be cousins, you know.
Who?
Grish and Tom. You never know.
Oh, they could be. Yeah.
You never know. They keep their haircut tight.
Dirty.
Just two good guys with short hair.
Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you for joining the conversation. If you guys have any questions or funny
I made tunes with Grish as well. I mean, we made some
really
know. Fun
Grish
tunes
seems
actually.
To be a guy who like hides a lot of music from
really
everybody.
Fun tunes. We never I don't think we finished anything, but it was really fun making tunes with them.
So after you leave on Friday.
Yeah, I leave on Friday, and then
are you going straight back to?
No, I'm going
Melbourne.
No, I'm going to play at Sun and Bass. So
right.
Bass, yeah.
Jesus Christ, how could I forget that? My God.
Yeah, so I'm going to Sardinia, man.
I am so proud of you, bro.
Yeah,
thanks,
man.
That's a fucking gig, man. That is a dream gig of mine.
Thanks to Brescia and Sun and Bass, the Sun and Bass guys. Yeah.
Seriously, that's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Man, I've never been, so I've always heard it from you. So I was like, I'm so glad I can actually find, because I've never been able to go, because I have to usually go back to Melbourne before that happens because of dates of uni. But this term, it starts later, so I can actually go. So it's like great.
Yeah. No, it it's weird, man, because I loved it so much that I try really hard not to talk about it ever.
Yeah, right. Well, you talked about it enough to me, man. I was.
Well,
sold.
no, of course, you and Kevin, of course.
Yeah, well, because
no,
you
but,
guys went.
But I mean,
yeah.
like in general, like I
Yeah.
always tried to keep my mouth shut. Trying to keep the festival to myself.
Yeah.
Because I know how hard it is to get tickets, and how hard it is to get a room.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those like where if you let more people know this is amazing, then that's more people are gonna try and go.
They're gonna find out anyway. It's like anything.
I know,
yeah.
but in my head, I was like, don't fucking talk about this in public. No one in Barcelona knows about this festival. Let's leave it that way. Now there's quite a few people who know about it and love it as well.
But that's good. Yeah.
No, it's good for the festival for sure.
Yeah.
It's not good for me. But
well, I'm looking forward to just like bumping into people that I know.
No,
well,
for sure. Like this, for sure you will. For sure you will. And it's nice to meet a lot of like the other thing that's really beautiful about that festival is that it's an older crowd.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So not only do they know their music, but they're more respectful. You don't get what you get in other festivals. But also, when the kids do arrive, they behave better because they see what's there, you know. The reason I'm saying this is because it really is a getaway for junglists, you know, and you meet people like, you know, that have been going there for 10, 15 years and they're there with their families and they're from Australia and they're from South America. When you go back, you see them again and it has a real family vibe to it. It's lovely, man. Yeah. I think you're going to love it.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, looking forward, man.
You're playing at I was gonna say Jeff Precious night. Yeah, well
apparently there's no nights. There's no lineups.
There's
no, you know, it's not a this night or that night. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know I understand the whole politics of it all.
Yeah.
But
I don't really
I'm one of those nights.
Yeah, I'm playing on the night that Jeff is curating, with the Precious curating with a bunch of artists from Samurai.
Right.
So so it's cool to get to meet all these Samurai artists, which is really cool. And a lot of them are European, which is interesting. You know, like they're from different. You know, there's an Italian guy. It's a kind of interesting. Yeah. I would have listened to their tunes and played their tunes, but I wouldn't have met them. So looking forward to that.
No, they're very unique artists.
Yeah. So man, excited, and
ready to eat some pizza.
Just Italian food is great, man. So,
it's great there, man.
You can't really go wrong, eh?
It's great.
So,
you know what I love about that festival? If you go there a day before it all begins, everything's Italian. And the very next day, it's like drum and bass everywhere.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I'm only getting there. Just the evening before it starts, so I probably won't get too much of that. But it would be nice. I can imagine just being there. I mean, I have Italian family.
You arrive what night?
It's Friday night.
Friday night?
Yeah, it starts on Saturday.
I'll tell you something later.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, this is a good night.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if A-Sides is.
Oh around, I heard. I heard. Yeah, they do something.
Or Baby.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know.
Nice.
So anything you want to talk about these last 15 minutes that we're on, or however long this battery lasts?
I don't know.
How does it feel to be back in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like I literally before I came here, I've been back like 2 hours. So but it was cool because I made the point of like just getting. I was gonna go to Kevin's house and chill, but I was like, I really want to just walk around. So I went because we used to live off Plaza Universidad, and just walked down to Discos Paradiso, and it is really, it's interesting. You know, I lived here for 13 years, so it's the same street. Some things have changed, some things are exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's trippy, man. It's surreal. It's really surreal.
And you lived here for a long time, bro.
Long time, man. Yeah. Long time. And I lived in that house for like 6 years, which was I think is the longest house I've ever lived in my life, because we used to move around a lot as a kid. So you know, it was, went in, talked to Gerard, big up Gerard and all the Discos Paradiso people.
Big up.
They said to say hello to you and send their regards to you.
Oh wow, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, man.
Years.
Yeah, he's got 2 kids now.
Years. Yeah, I know. He does.
Yeah, he's looking really well, and it was just really nice, and it's mixed emotions, man. Mixed emotions. It's kind of like I didn't plan to leave here, so I because I wasn't sure if I was gonna stay in Australia. I didn't plan to stay in Australia, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try for a year, and then I'll probably come back to Barcelona, start studying in Barcelona, and start the Gestalt and the psychotherapy here and do that. So I just didn't do it. So it's coming back is like, yeah, it's.
Look at my sexy legs, bro.
It's odd.
I didn't realize my legs were. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. How is exercise going for you?
Good, man.
Because I remember that was like.
Can you see my feet here?
No.
The whole time? Okay.
No. But you can see my white legs.
Right, yeah. I don't have any shoes on. Yeah, it's just.
I don't care. But I remember right before you left, you were like, you and I were both kind of starting to get into like different types of exercise.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I mean, because now, like I used to teach English, and I did like disability support work and stuff like this, and like I'm moving around the whole time, and now I'm like a therapist, like a psychotherapist. So I'm sitting in a chair like this,
right?
And then I'm going to uni. I'm sitting down, and I'm studying. I'm sitting down, just sitting all the time.
Yeah.
And with the stuff with the psychotherapy, it's like it's quite heavy content. It kind of weighs on your body, you know, the stuff that you're absorbing or just, you know, holding space for. So it's like I have to do exercise now, and my body as it gets older, it really.
Well, you're also
it,
older, bro.
yeah. So yeah, but I just been going to the gym, but I really, really like it, and I need to get into more kind of advanced stuff or have a bit more of a plan with it. But it's been really nice. Yeah, I miss it when I don't do it, and it gives me a lot of clarity of mind, and it's really good for my mental health, and it's really good for my physical health. So yeah,
couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah, it's been a big change, and it's really nice, and I guess it's normal. Like it's interesting now seeing like people like teenagers and stuff now, like that's one of the third spaces that they have is the gym. They'll go together and they'll, you know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I see young teenagers at my gym.
Young. Yeah.
You know, 14, 15.
So it's just normal for people to do it now. Like
it's normalized.
Whereas before, I never would have gone to the gym. So yeah, I enjoy it, man.
Mm-hmm. And skateboarding, you kind of gave that up?
Yeah, no. I mean, I do roll around a bit, but it's just not that practice. So I fall pretty quickly, and when I fall, I realize you're just bouncing your bones off concrete. So basically, it's really kind of
it's only something for kids, basically.
Well, I mean, some people do it, like, but I don't know. I'd like to get back. I just don't have the time. It's like at the moment I'm not really drumming, but I would like to get back into it.
I was gonna ask you that next.
Yeah, because I was big up Nico and Fede and Pope and all that. Because we were in this band together, Herbata, before I left, and it was like really good, man. I went to jazz school here in Taller de Musics. And I was playing in combos, like in jazz combos, like 5 times a week, different bands. So,
do you have a kit at home?
No, I sold it before I came out here a few times.
Well, you had an electric one, didn't you?
I had an electric one here that I sold, and I had an acoustic one in Melbourne that I sold. But I just don't have the time. But if I have time, I'm going to be in the studio making tunes, and that's creative. So I get all my credit. But I really enjoy playing drums, so I look forward to playing more, but we'll see.
Okay, so here's some fire shot questions. What DAW do you use?
FL sometimes.
Oh wow, you moved on from Logic.
I'm still using Logic, but I use FL a lot now.
Why?
Because it's what Pugilist uses.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm making tunes with him, we're using his computer, so I just get used to using FL. So I use FL. Yeah.
How do you like it?
It's great.
Yeah,
it's really fun
compared to Logic.
It's just different, there's different ways of doing the same things, but some things in Logic I like better. But like in terms of chopping up audio, in terms of like getting ideas down, like FL is really fun. And just like clicking, once you click on an audio sample, it opens up the sampler, and you can do everything. It's like opening up contacts. So within one click of an audio sample, you have basically contact open. You don't have to load in an external plugin. This is very quick, and it's fun, man. And like we like I've seen how like a lot of people I know now make tunes on FL as well. Like Tim Reaper makes tunes on FL, and I've seen him.
Oh, he uses FL Studio.
Yeah, I've seen how he makes tunes in FL. Like and he's like he's so fast with everything.
Right, because he's got it in control.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things, there's a lot of tricks you can do with FL that just makes it so fast.
Yeah.
And you can just get the idea out really quickly. So yeah, and I've been using Ableton with Pod, and that's cool. I've used Ableton for a while. I can see the benefit of all it. With Blood Trust as well, we've been using Ableton. So yeah, it's interesting. I like use on a weekly basis. I'll use probably one DAW, and then the next week I'll use a different DAW. So, but at home when I'm sketching stuff and when I'm making tunes myself, I'm using Logic. But there's stuff in it that just takes way longer than Ableton or FL. So
let me explain. This camera is going to die
answer.
soon. So when that dies, it moves on to this camera, and then we can say bye. So
cool.
Until then, we're going. What do you have a favorite break?
No.
Okay. Favorite DJ mixer?
The X-Tone, the silver one.
The what?
The X-Tone.
Oh, the X-Tone, the X-Zone.
The X-Tone, mate.
Tone?
X-Tone.
Which one's the X-Tone?
Maybe it's the X-Zone. I don't know, the Alan Heath one.
Alan Heath.
The Zone.
Zone.
Right. Yeah, the silver one, the techno one.
Oh, right. Why do you like that one?
Because it feels premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a joy to play on. Like once you play on that for a while.
That has four EQs, right?
Yeah. I've gotten used to it now.
I love 4 EQs, man. That's why I have that mixer over there.
I don't really use because I don't have any of this stuff at home, so I'm just playing gigs with it. So, but I've played a few gigs where I've played like long sets on that, and it's just sweet.
It's lovely.
Yeah, because everything feels premium. Like the faders feel nice to touch, and then you go back onto a Pioneer and everything's completely plastic.
Yeah. Well, Pioneer's now kind of dead, so.
Well, I don't know, man. It's in pretty much every club.
No, it's all the clubs. But what I'm saying is the company is now phasing out into
Right.
So.
Well, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they come up with something.
Zone.
Yeah.
Heath. Yeah.
And what monitors do you have at home for production?
AirPods, man.
AirPods.
Yeah, man.
Those are expensive, man.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
It's a little shitty speaker. I just have headies. I have those. I think those headies.
You have these?
Yeah, I think so. The Bearing Dynamic.
The 770?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Pro.
I can't remember.
The Pro ones.
Yeah,
They're great.
Yeah, I mean,
these are really, really old.
What? Yeah, I mean, I just use headphones at home. I have some Yamahas I got given, but in the studio with Fuji, he got the, what are they called? Fuck. Oh, I can't remember now. They're good though. They're better than the Yamahas. What are those ones? They're Focus?
Those are Focals.
Maybe they're Focals. No, Focus. Shit, my brain is fried.
It's all good. It's not important.
Yeah, but I mean, the gear stuff, I realized like what I'd like to do is maybe get like one piece of hardware and start to jam out on that and just like
that's usually how it all starts.
But in Melbourne, what I want to do is I want to be able to actually just like come to a session with stuff I've already made and then just use it as a samples, which I've done a little bit with samples, like prep samples, but I can see like I got to be in the studio a little bit with Pugilist and Forest Drive West, and like he just brings a bunch of stuff that he made on his hardware, and it's like it's sick. Like that's really nice. So I want to try
it's a different way of working. I mean, you have to set up, you
have to spend another day just to do that. It's a different mindset. So I like that idea. I don't know if you ever seen that like old Ronnie, the old Full Cycle or Dub Dragon documentary where they're talking about how they made their tunes back in the day. They had like 1 day for samples, 1 day for bass lines, 1 day for breaks.
No, they still work like that.
Yeah, right. So so like it's nice to separate. But there's a place in Melbourne called Mess, which is this library of synths, and they have everything, and you can ask for everything. They have like hundreds. Like Mark Pritchard will go down there and do
samples or synths,
pedals, synths, drum machines. Like they have
like a
of
library
stuff.
kind of thing.
It's a public thing.
But you can take it out?
No, you go there and you record it. So I want to try to start doing that because then I can have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Is it far from your house?
I don't know. Not that much.
Damn, bro.
But yeah, you have to become a member and stuff. But it's this crazy amount of stuff. So it's sick. So yeah, that's kind of.
So what's your dream synth?
I don't have one, man.
You don't have one? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just to be able to finish tunes quicker. My dream is to just be able to finish tunes.
Yeah.
quickly and be
So
able to
that's,
fit.
you feel like that's something you're lacking?
Yeah. I mean, I find it really hard to finish stuff. I can finish stuff in a collab very quickly, but on my own, it just takes me ages, and I get stuck on something, and then I get bored. You know,
Yeah.
when I'm in a collab, we'll have a limited amount of time, and yeah, you just get it done. It's a lot easier because again, it's like coming back to that limitations. If there's a limitation, I can work really well within that. Without that, I find it tricky. Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're figuring it out. You know, that's what.
Yeah,
we
I mean
all
that's
do,
always
you
been
know?
the case for me. So it's nice that I can have a way where I actually do finish music and finish a lot of music, which is great. So
yeah.
but yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite plugin?
I like the Echo Boy.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? Sound toys? Yeah, like I like the sound toy
Echo
stuff.
Boy.
Yeah, I like that stuff. And I like, you know, I'm starting to use more in Logic just the stock delays and yeah, that's fun. But they have a delay designer and the reverb kind of space designer. I like them. And yeah, I started getting into Air Windows. It's a minefield, man. It's just so much stuff, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's the best. It's like the best plugins you could ever get in the world, and they're free. So anyone looking to get some good plugins, go to Air Windows. And
he's a smart man.
Yeah, so there's just so much out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing is, you have to have that kind of mentality to use those kind of.
Yeah, it's not very.
For me, it with my ADHD, those things are just not.
Yeah,
it's not
as.
I tried downloading one of them, and I was just like, "What am I trying to do here? Like, my brain is not functioning."
Yeah.
But yeah, they're
amazing.
They sound amazing, and they're free. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Fionn, you know Fionn? I was talking to him.
Shout out to Fionn.
Yeah, he's like he's talking about doing stuff to tape, you know, and then recording it back in at a different speed, and like what the technical guys do.
Yep,
that'd be really fun doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I love tape.
Yeah,
tape is awesome.
Yeah, lots of stuff. I don't have access to it, but there's lots of stuff that would be really fun to try. And I think it's just like being able to just do one thing, use one piece of kit. Yeah. And that's what I've been doing with hardware, is just using one thing and really enjoying that. So that's,
All right. I think this is a good moment to recap.
Yeah.
What is the one advice you would give to a boy, a girl, a man, a woman who is holding back for whatever reason from being involved in the scene?
I think it's probably, I mean, my advice these days, everyone's just go to therapy, find a good therapist.
Wow.
You know, like if you can do that, you're good, man. You know, like it's just finding that, it's trying to find that inner support that you have inside you, you know, like if you can access that, like you're good. Yeah. You'll be able to just go out there and be expressive and be how you want to be and try things and mess it up. And, you know, it's just having that kind of inner kind of secure base, you know, and that's something that comes with time and experience. But just believing in yourself, I guess, and just trying to connect with yourself more, as opposed to trying getting all that from others, trying to get it. Try really connecting with yourself. And
any last message to the world?
To the world,
internet.
The internet. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for anyone listening to this. And it's been a nice chat, and it's nice to be here, man. And just thanks to everyone who I know that's watching this, and everyone in Barcelona that was part of like the journey I've been on here. It's a big part of my life. My whole 20s were here, so thanks for being part of it, and I really appreciate everyone. So
all right, guys, love you very much. Thank you for commenting on the chat. You can obviously comment afterwards as well. Thank you for the support, and see you in 2 weeks. SofaWax, Egris, Tamen, love you.
Abrazo. Go
out to parties, support your local scene, all those things. How do I turn this off? Right. Okay, guys, love you.